In this activity, we are going to use simple file sharing in order to create and share a folder from our Windows computer. Now, the first thing I need to do before I do this is I do actually need to create a user in order to share this file. So here I am, I'm back in computer management on server SA1. I'm going to go to local users and groups, users, and then I'm going to right click, new user. I'm going to create a user called test user. With a password 01. I'm going to turn off must change password, and I will say password never expires. And create. And then close. Back onto disk management. I want to create a new volume here on my 20 gig hard drive. So I'm going to right click on the unallocated space and say new simple volume. I'm going to say 5,000 for the size in megabytes. That's about a 5 gigabit. And I will assign the drive letter H. Next. Test vol. Next. And finish. At this point, if I go to File Explorer and I click this PC, I will now see my test vol right there. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and then right click and say new folder. And for the folder, I'm going to call this test share 1. Now that I have my folder, I can go ahead and create a share on there. So I'm going to right click my test share 1 and say give access to, and then specific people. So this is the simple sharing option that we have here. By default, the administrator and administrators group already have permissions. I want to add permission for my test user. In order to add permission for test user, I click the drop down here and I can see all the users on this computer, and there is test user. I will also note that if I hadn't pre-created this account, I could have clicked create a new user at the same time. So test user, add, and then we want to give test user both read and write options. I'm going to go ahead and click share, and at this point the share is done and is ready for the user. I'm going to say, let's see, sure, make this a public network. No, I'm going to say no. For this lab, it doesn't really matter which ones you click on there. At this point, I can see I also have this checkbox or this button down here that says show me all network shares on this computer. I will go, if I click on that, which I will, it will show me all the shares that exist on this computer. I will go ahead and click done and then close that. Once the simple file sharing is done, we can also right click on test share 1 and go to properties. And we will start off by looking at the sharing tab. And here we can see the individual share with its permissions that we had looked at previously, as well as the advanced sharing options here. Along with the permissions, we can also click on the security tab and we can see the individual file permissions that are applied to the files in here. And we'll notice that when we shared this with test user 1, we also gave test user 1 control over the files that were included as well. If I click advanced, we will see that there's also a creator owner option. Right now is administrators, but that can also be changed to test user as well. And that is the end of the simple file sharing activity.